Ladies and gentlemen, boys and squirrels, what's up, guys? How the Battlefielders doing today? I am doing okay, short of this massive headache. It could be attributed to the sinus infection, or just could be my wife. I'm not very sure. So hopefully, whatever it is, you don't get one. Not the headache, a wife. But I wanted to talk to you guys about the suppressor today. Pro tip number one, obviously, already covered that, but I wanted to talk to you guys about the suppressor and how it's changed between Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4, because now I believe it's one of the most important attachments an aggressive or semi-aggressive player could have. It is 10 times better now on Battlefield 4 than it ever was on Battlefield 3, and I want to talk to you guys a little bit about it. As you know, customization's a little bit more enhanced now on Battlefield 4. Things are a little bit easier. There's some things that you can do that basically every attachment has its positive side, but then it has a handicap. Obviously, you can't just put all the things you want on it, and it's going to be amazing. It's not like a sub where you can put, olives and whatever the hell you want on it. Every thing that you put on a gun is going to have a negative side. That's how they balance it, but you choose what parts you want. Some guns, cut down the spread, but add accuracy with aiming down sight. Some things do the exact opposite, stuff like that. So wherever you want to improve your thing, or where you're struggling, if you find that you can handle recoil a lot better than another person, then go ahead and take a hit to the recoil to tighten the spread or something like that. That's just kind of how the attachments work. It's a give and take sort of situation. Now, I think the best way to describe how it's changed from Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4 is to tell you the stats about it with this particular weapon. Now, we're going to talk about the M416 in Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4. Battlefield 4, the basic only handicap, if you will, to this weapon is the muzzle velocity. When you use this, it basically cuts it in half. So when you're using the gun naturally with any other attachments, it's going to travel at 600 meters per second. When you attach the suppressor, it cuts that in almost half. I think it travels around 320. I think it was 330 in Battlefield 3. Basically, damn near close to half, which is still a significant hit. Obviously, you have to sacrifice something when you put the suppressor on, because you can't just go around shooting everything without being heard, because then everybody will use it. There has to be a positive and a negative side to every attachment, and that's how it is now in Battlefield 4. In Battlefield 3, it had the same velocity nerf, but it also had an additional nerf to it that made it just pretty much not even worth using, and it actually affected damage over distance. In Battlefield 3, it had a max damage of 25 and a minimum damage of 18, and the drop-off is what was affected. At 8 meters, it started dropping off from 25 damage, and it carried over, slowly declining until 50 meters, where it capped off at 18. When you equip the suppressor in Battlefield 3, the drop-off started at 4. That's half the distance. It started at 4 meters, and it ended at 35, meaning at 35 meters in Battlefield 3, when you had a suppressor equipped, at 35 meters, it was a 6-shot to kill, whereas it still held on just fine, leaving it a 5-shot to kill if it just had nothing on it. So you had a double nerf when you put the suppressor on. It impacted the muzzle velocity of the weapon by cutting it almost in half, but it was also cutting the damage over distance basically in half too. So you had a huge nerf when using the suppressor in BF3. That particular part and aspect is no longer here in Battlefield 4. The only thing impacted is the velocity. And the same kind of handicaps happen to all attachments. The muzzle brake, for example, when you attach that, what it does is it drops the recoil. It makes it a little bit more manageable. It cuts down the vertical recoil. So if you're using a high rate of fire weapon, something that has a lot of vertical recoil, you put on the muzzle brake and it drops it down, making it a little bit more manageable. But what it does, it also sacrifices the spread on the weapon to about 23%. So where you increase the spread, which is not a good thing, you decrease the recoil, making it more manageable. So it's just kind of like a give and take. Some things you may work with, some things you won't. You got to find the right attachments for you. But the suppressor is incredible now. That's what I'm trying to encourage. I actually think it'll be the mandatory thing people start using. I think I'll start seeing it in competitive soon, because not being able to be seen and finding it very hard to tell where the bullets are coming from is a very, very important thing. It's invaluable. So with this new knowledge, go out there, spread the word, spread the cheeks, let everybody know that the suppressor is now a thing that people need to start using more often. I find that, in any sort of medium to close range map, I'm going to start using it on most of the maps, short of like Silk Road or something, where there are other attachments more feasible for that, and depending on the weapon. A lot of it's going to come down to preference too. Some people don't mind about being heard and being loud, making the walls shake, you know what I'm saying? But some people just like to whisper the whole time, and that's what you got with this one. So thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you guys found some of this valuable and can start incorporating this into your gameplay. Hopefully I can give you this knowledge and you'll become a better player instantly by just not knowing where things are happening. I'm just able to steamroll through these guys. Any loud gun and none of this would have been able to happen. But again, this is definitely the kind of map, the kind of weapon, the kind of attachments you want to run on a map like this. So thank you guys. Today is the 10th day of the 25 days of Christmas, so leave a comment down below. Be sure to teabag that like button, as this is valuable information, and if you don't, I'm gonna cry about it. So yeah, you don't want that. Anyways, have a good day, guys. Stay moist, and like I said, take this into account. Start using it, and I think if you start using it for a couple games, you'll realize that you're not going to use any other attachments if you're an aggressive to semi-aggressive player. So again, go do the things.